I'm Austin.
I'm Quintin.
And this is XMAS Movies.
The podcast where we talk about Christmas classics that aren't exactly classics. And today we are talking about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Another Shane Black movie starring Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
I've never seen this movie.
I haven't either. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it. I had no clue what to expect. And it was okay. It was pretty good.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
I would say it was probably on par in quality to Iron Man 3. It's like in terms of like movie quality.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Parts of it haven't aged as well that make me... For those... Okay, let's talk about what this movie is. Basically, this guy robs a store and then an alarm goes off, and while he and his partner are running, his partner gets shot, and in order to evade the police, he runs into an audition for some fucking movie that we never really learn anything about. It's not really important, and the script is about a guy that got his partner killed, and so he like actually breaks down and starts crying, and the director's like, that guy's method. So they send him to LA, and then he gets involved in this fucking murder mystery.
Yeah, and Val Kilmer is also there.
Yes. Okay, to that point, Val Kilmer's character is named Gay Perry, and
he doesn't have... Is his last name ever mentioned?
Yes, it is. Gay Perry Van Shrike.
No, yeah. This movie came out in 2005.
Yeah.
Right? 3 years before he was Iron Man.
And you need to look at it with that cultural context in terms of characters like that. But parts of it's like, those parts haven't aged as well.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make the movie worse because of it, because even though it is a little, it's literally like, I would argue that the way that they depict a gay character is actually like pretty fine. It's just they use the F slur a lot.
Yeah.
And it's only the gay character that ever uses it, so that's
pretty
like
much. I think there might be one or two instances where it's not like that, but I don't know.
I don't remember. So it's a little better,
yeah,
but it's still not great.
Yeah, it's still not great. I mean, and there's like funny bits. Like, this movie is very weird in like the contextualization and like the context of a lot of like individual moments. So basically, after Robert Downey Jr.'s character, does he have a name?
Harry. How do you never learn a character's name?
Because it takes me like 3 watches to memorize character names. If it's a famous actor, I'm going to default to using the actor's name. Because oftentimes actors are just playing themselves. They're not playing a specific character.
Okay, whatever.
But like, it is... Okay, this movie's a mystery. And it's a very weird mystery.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. It's hard to explain. Like
it is. Basically, so I'm gonna try my best. Basically, start to finish. I'm not gonna go in terms of how the characters find out this mystery, because that makes it way more complicated. I'm just gonna go in terms of what actually happens. So Robert Downey Jr. as a child was a magician, and his like the person who helped him out, what is her name? Harmony. Harmony has a sister who is sexually abused by their father, and Harmony, in order to like help her sister, is like, that's not actually your dad. You were adopted. Not in like a mean way, but in a way where she's trying to like, that's not actually your dad. This piece of shit, your real dad is this. There's this film production that comes through that adapts Harmony's like favorite book series of mystery novels.
I feel like the mystery novels are kind of characterized as these like sleazy kind of like yellow books, which are definitely like kind of something that children should be reading, but that's kind of just a part of the comedy.
Yeah, it is.
There is like a lot talking about like sex work in this. Like that's like that's a thing in this movie. I don't know. I don't have a lot of opinions on the things that happen in this movie.
But anyways, she says, hey, you see the lead of this movie? That's actually your dad. And then years later, Harmony is working as an actor, and her sister comes down to LA and like tries to find this guy who she believes is her father. And then this guy secretly put his daughter in a mental hospital for reasons I can't remember. I think they were fighting about something, and then hired an actress to play his daughter so she could remove like a complaint about him in court. And then basically Harmony's sister walks in on this guy and this actress fucking, and like she freaks out because her father sexually abused her, and now she's seeing this guy that she believes is her real father sexually abusing who she believes to be his real daughter and then she steals her sister's like credit card and
hires a detective,
hires Val Kilmer's character
Yeah.
to investigate and like catch the actor whose name is Harlan for incest basically and like sexual abuse. And then she kills herself because she can't, like, it triggers her because she was sexually abused and now she's seeing someone else sexually abuse their daughter, this person that she also believes is her real father. And it's really fucked.
And it's
when
really
we got to that moment, we were all like,
shit.
Fuck.
It was like,
And we watched this with our friend and he was silent during that part.
Yeah.
He didn't say a thing. But no, that's like the mystery is trying to figure out
because they don't think it's a suicide. Everybody is convinced that it's a murder,
and they find the body of Harlan's actual daughter, who is in a mental hospital. They find that body, and then Harmony's sister kills herself. And none of this is really important in the grand scheme of talking about this movie. And I'm realizing we're maybe overcomplicating things by trying to explain this. It's basically there's suicide and like incest and like severe mental health, and it's not explored in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's just like it like hits you hard because you're watching this like very quippy movie, and then it takes it like actually surprisingly seriously.
Yeah. It's really, this entire movie is a really strange beast. It's kind of, in all honesty, it's kind of a nothing movie. Like, I don't like have like too many opinions on this movie. I thought it was funny in the moment. I thought it was like fine, but like in terms of like the plot, it was just hard for me to wrap my head around it a lot of the times because it was just so much happening.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really have any strong opinions about it. It was just kind of a fine middle of the road weird comedy mystery movie.
I mean, to me, this feels like Shane Black. That just is kind of how he works. I think Iron Man 3, because he had more oversight from Marvel and like Kevin Feige, it felt
more like a Marvel movie.
It felt more like a Marvel movie, but it still had elements of like his like weird story quirks that you really see when you watch movies like Lethal Weapon or The Nice Guys.
Like both Iron Man 3 and this movie have Robert Downey Jr. narrating for a good portion of it. And this has more of that, and it definitely breaks the fourth wall a lot, kind of like in a weird like Emperor's New Groove kind of manner. But that's
I would say that's inaccurate. It's not so much Ferris Bueller breaking the fourth wall. It's more so
another movie that's felt very similar to is The Gentleman.
I would agree with that. I think for me that is more so just the vibe of the movie.
Yeah.
Where it feels this movie honestly feels less like that. But The Gentleman, I don't want to talk about it, but has some issues where it feels like a white male power fantasy.
I believe it is.
A cis-het white male power fantasy, and this movie has less of it. And one of the only reasons for that is I feel like there's a female character who still is kind of not the most developed, but has more development than some of the female characters in The Gentleman, and also like has a gay character as a protagonist.
Yeah, The Gentleman is it's just a British film made by Guy Ritchie, a British guy, and it just feels overly British, and also Matthew McConaughey is there.
And as we all know, Shane Black feels very British, and Robert Downey Jr. feels very Matthew McConaughey. That's what we're saying.
I mean,
that's what we're saying.
Honestly, not. It has the same vibe. Like, it's weird.
I agree with that. I enjoy. I think The Gentleman's a better movie, but I enjoyed it in terms of just like.
I like this. I feel like it's a funnier movie.
It's a funnier movie
because of just the framing device of it.
I feel better watching this movie though, because The Gentleman, I'm like, it was fun to rip apart like those little power fantasy moments, but with this, it's a movie that I'm actually sitting down and enjoying.
Yeah,
as it is, not so much enjoying it in terms of ripping it apart, but just enjoying it as it is, like without reading into it too much.
So as a Christmas movie, it doesn't really feel like a Christmas movie.
No, and it's at the beginning, it did, because it started out with Robert Downey Jr.'s character Harry stealing toys to buy for his niece.
Well, not buy, but
okay, well, stealing toys. Sorry, stealing toys for his niece. You don't steal toys you don't steal something to buy it. But it starts out feeling like a Christmas movie, and then it slowly kind of just becomes more of a like tongue-in-cheek detective film, and I think it does a pretty good job of being that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like it doesn't like it has like a lot of like issues that it mentions, like things that it like
brings up and tries to comment on, but it's really not saying a whole lot about a lot of it.
I would argue that it's not saying a whole lot, but it is saying something.
Yeah.
The issue is that it's not I feel so stupid. It's not commenting on these issues in terms of Christmas. In terms of how
it's just commenting on the issues.
In terms of we've talked about this a lot in terms of how the holidays exacerbate issues or how like you're dealing with those things as a result of it. And I think that's because a lot of Shane Black's movies are set at least partially during Christmas. I think
it's a really weird quirk.
I think he just likes setting like dark films against a Christmas backdrop, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like having like something really dark happening during, like literally against lights, like colorful lights, and that kind of vibe is interesting, and it's an interesting thing to explore on screen.
But like, it's not like where even talking about like the aesthetic choices, I can't remember many scenes where the Christmas aesthetic really plays into it, except
Harmony,
for like
Harmony wears like a Santa outfit.
Yeah, there is like
they
are in like a club, and like all of like dancers are like in holiday themed outfits. But that's like the only scene.
Yeah, no.
That's like the only like full on committing to the aesthetic scene.
I think part of that is because it's set in LA and it's harder to do that. I don't know what LA looks like during the Christmas season, but it's definitely. I think
LA looks like all the time.
Yeah, with a few more lights, and that's what you get in this movie. I don't think though if they had changed the setting, it would have changed much about how it feels as a Christmas movie, because like it's exploring like really fucked up shit, and it is, in my opinion, I enjoy it as a movie. I enjoy it. It's like a fun little tongue-in-cheek detective film.
It has a lot of shock.
It does.
It has a surprising amount of shock humor, actually. And I would say that is the when he just like gets his finger cut off.
I like
it came completely out of left field. It wasn't marinated on. It wasn't like, oh shit, fuck, my finger's cut off. It was like, you cut off my fucking finger after he's already been to the hospital. It like over the course of like 2 minutes film time, his finger gets slammed off by like a door, I think. And so I don't know exactly. I forgot the context.
He has his hand like in the little
door
doorway,
frame,
and then
like,
it gets slammed on, and his finger gets cut off, and then they get it like stitched back on, and then some people rip it off, and then when he gets tortured, and then a dog eats it.
But yeah, like over the course of like 2 minutes, his finger gets cut off. He's in the hospital. And then he is in the car yelling at the person who just slammed off his finger over the phone, which it was funny. And it was just very just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like, it didn't like, that's kind of this movie's like thing.
Yeah.
It's like its style. It's like a lot of what the fuck moments.
Exactly. And I enjoy it. I think it's a fun movie, but I think for this podcast, it's not a very Christmassy movie, because like it is like I enjoy the stylistic elements. I normally enjoy Shane Black's style. There are some moments that haven't aged well, and it is a lot of shock humor, but I still like it fine.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine movie. It's perfectly serviceable. Is it a Christmas movie? I'd say no. I would argue that this might actually be on the bottom of the list in terms of how Christmassy it is, which is surprising. But yeah, I think this is below Eyes Wide Shut, because with Eyes Wide Shut, they are playing with the Christmas aesthetic in a way that seems more intentional.
I guess.
With this, it's set at Christmas.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
This is just a movie that is set at Christmas, and if you change that, fundamentally nothing would change.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like with Eyes Wide Shut, we are like we said, like if you change the setting, or if you change the time in which it was set, it would change it a little bit, but it wouldn't change it that much. This, fundamentally, nothing would change if you set it at a different time.
I agree with that, and it is about thematic elements, but it is also about aesthetic, because I'm thinking about this, and I think the reason Black Christmas was pushed above Eyes Wide Shut was because it utilizes the aesthetic more.
Yes.
And for this, it doesn't have either those thematic elements in relation to the holiday season or the aesthetic going for it, and like I just don't want it to be lower than Jingle All the Way. That's my issue.
This is the third movie that is below Jingle All the Way on this list, which is making
really
you
sad.
mad.
Yeah, it is.
Do you want to have a side ranking where Jingle All the Way is on the bottom in terms of just like it's the worst? Jingle All the Way is the worst movie that we've watched still.
Yeah, no, we don't need to change it. I agree, and I think it should be below Jingle All the Way, but I don't want it to be.
Here's a question. Which had more dark moments of shock humor, this or Jingle All the Way?
I'm trying to think about this. I think this, honestly. I
Okay.
think Jingle All the Way has like one.
Yeah.
The bomb
We're gonna
threat scene.
the bomb scene. Oh my god, that scene is so dumb.
Talking about stuff that hasn't aged.
Oh my god, that hasn't aged well.
Oh my god, this episode that we've just recorded feels so loose because
like there just isn't really much to talk about.
No, there isn't really. And I think it's an interesting movie. I could see myself. I went through this journey while we were watching the movie where I was watching and I was like, I could see myself watching this like next Christmas, and then it would progress more and I'm like, maybe not, and then it would progress more and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm after I finished it, I don't know if I would watch it again because I really enjoy kind of off-center Christmas movies like to watch with friends, and I could see myself watching this. I don't know if I would next year. But I
feel like
enjoyed
there
it.
are better options for that kind of movie.
The Night Before.
Yeah, The Night Before. It's probably a better option.
Best movie on this list currently.
The best Christmas movie on this list.
Yes.
I believe. I will say this: there are definitely. I feel like I thought going into this that we would have a lot more, just like a lot more like kind of more Christmassy classic movies. It's been kind of an even split, whether that
really
be for
has
the
been.
faults of the movie. It has been. We have watched a very good range of movies to make this.
I would say that there are at the moment 4 movies that I would definitely watch again next Christmas, and 5 that I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has
been a weird episode.
this has been the meandering episode.
Yeah. Woo. We're getting into some more. Our last 3 movies are a lot more interesting, I would say.
I would agree. I think this is
the calm before the storm.
Yeah, this is the movie that we've had the least to say about, and I think the next 3 we're going to have the most to say about.
Yeah, because
genuinely,
I think the next 3 are going to shake up the list the most, because I feel like right now we've just been placing like top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom.
Yeah.
Like we haven't I feel like we're going to actually have to discuss these 3 movies and where they would go in the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we're going to be talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas.
This is Halloween.
Can't use
Halloween.
it. Can't use it. God damn it. That's been
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's the episode.
I'm Austin.
I'm Quintin.
Thanks for watching.
Happy holidays.
Take care.